Okay, let's begin. Okay, so we're going to open up Nuxt to have its documentation. Right here, Nuxt 4. So we're going to be using this documentation to help us through the tutorial. And first we want to start off by creating a project, okay, which is right here, the command. So we're going to copy that from the clipboard. And we are going to close this. Okay, and we're going to create a new folder. We're going to then open it in our editor of choice. Alright, in my case I'm using Visual Studio. So we're going to open it up. And we're going to open up the terminal. Right here. And then we're going to copy that command. Right here, npm create nuxt at latest. And then we're just going to put the name of the project. So in this case we're going to do Kick Clone, since we're copying Kick. And we're just going to wait for it. In my case it's npm. Okay, since it's installed, now it's asking us if we're going to initialize a Git repo. In this case we are not. And to install any official modules, and we're not. Okay, now we're going to close this tab. Okay, and we're going to drag our project out of this folder. We're going to throw away this folder right here. And now we have our clean project in this folder. Okay, now we're gonna open it up in Visual Studio again, and this is the clean project. Okay, what I like to do is I like to open a terminal right here, since we're gonna run the commands. Okay, and as you can see here, this is our project. All right, our clean Nuxt 4 project. So we have the app folder, which is going to contain all our front end components. That'd be the CSS, the components, the pages, all that's going to be included in this folder. And then if we have time, we might be able to build the server, but we're going to focus on strictly on the app, okay, for this tutorial. Okay, so we're going to begin by open up this page right here, and we're going to run the Nuxt command, which you can find in this package.json, which is right here, nuxt.dev, and this is just going to start our application. Okay, so run npm run dev. Okay, now our application is open. We open a new tab and run localhost 3000, and here's our application. Okay, we have the Nuxt dev tools right here, which we'll show in a future video, and we have what comes included by Nuxt. Okay, so we're going to remove that right here in the app.view. We're going to completely remove this. Okay, and we can say, for example, an h1 with hello world. Okay, save this file. As you can see, we have it right here. Okay, first thing I like to do is get a clean body. All right, because as you can see, we have this margin right here, the orange lines. Okay, and I don't like messing around with that. Okay, so I don't like bothering me, so we're just gonna clean it up right here. You see the margin? So what I like to do is come in this app.view folder, and we're gonna style it right here. So we're gonna call the body. I also like to call h1, so all the header tags, h2, h3, h4, and the p tag. And we're gonna do margin of 0, and I also like to do padding of 0. Okay, as you can see now we have a full clean project with no margin bothering us. Okay, so this is the app.view. What I like to do now, which by following the documentation we can find right here in the docs, get started. If you go to guide, we go to the structure, okay, the file structure, and then under app, right here. This is what we're going to be focusing on for this tutorial. Okay, so we have the pages, which is what we're going to use now. Okay, and like the name suggests, all right, it's just a page, which in our case we're going to use to create the landing page for Kick. Okay, so a page, like the name suggests, would be the home page, which is what we're going to build now, or you'd have the about page, the contact page, all these sort of pages, okay, fall under this folder. Okay, so we're going to create this folder under our app. So we'll go to our app folder and create a new folder, pages. Okay, and we're just gonna, you guys can call this whatever you'd like. I like to call it index.vu. Okay, so this is going to be our home page. Okay, I like to set up my templates like this with the script tag on top, template under it, and then lastly a style tag. Okay, now we can get rid of this hello world. Okay, and we can put it in our home page right here in the template. Okay, and then we can call it from our app view. How do we do that? Simple. We just do Nuxt page, and now it's referencing that index that we created. So that index page now gets seen whenever we come to the root of our project, which in this case is right here. Okay, so if we refresh, as you can see, we could still see the hello world. Okay, because now it's calling this index page right here. Okay, so Nuxt page, we're calling this index page right here. Okay, so we're going to start off the Kick page, okay, by styling the text and fonts that we're going to be using. So we're going to be using the intern from Google Fonts. Okay, why? Because it's the closest thing to the Kick font that I could find. So we're going to be using that. Okay, but we have to install a Nuxt module for that. So we're going to stop our project, Control C, like this. We can clear it to clear our terminal, I would like. Okay, and then now we're going to search here for Google Fonts Nuxt. Okay, and as you can see, we get this module. Okay, and how Google suggests, we're going to grab this. Okay, and we're just going to run npm install and the name of the module. Okay, now this is going to install it in our dependencies. Okay, so in the package.json, we can now see that under the dependencies. Okay, it's right here. Right, but we're not done there, because we have to now call the module so our project understands where it's at, and we have to call it from the Nuxt config file. Okay, so we're going to call modules, and then we're going to call in an array. All right, we're just going to copy the name of our module, which, like we said, it's Nuxt / Google Fonts. Okay, and then we're going to run this. All right, start the app again by running npm run dev again. Okay, like this. Now our project understands that the dependency is installed. So as you can see now, we get the warning call saying no provided fonts. Okay, so now we can come in this Nuxt config file and write config, Google Fonts. It appears. Okay, and then we're going to call the font families right here, families. And in our case, we're going to call the intern family right here. And then right here, we're going to have an array of the fonts. So the weight font, which is the boldness of the styling for the text, and for each individual weight. So intern takes in all the weights. Okay, the weights is just like I mentioned, it's the boldness of each individual style. Okay, so if the weight is larger, so let's say in this case it's 900, then you're going to get your text is going to be extremely bold. Okay, the smaller it is, the thinner it gets. Okay, but we're going to see it now. Okay, so right here goes the weights go from 100 through 900. So we have 600, 700. Okay, now since we're all set up, the last thing we want to call is in our body. Okay, we want the font family for our page to be intern. We can call it now from here. Now we have access to it. Okay, now we're going to set up the text sizes we're going to use, which is what the Kick page uses. So we're going to call it dot text sm for small text. Okay, and this is going to have a font size of 0.85, 0.875, my bad, or em, and it's going to have a line height of 1.25 rem. We're going to do the same for a larger font, which is we're going to call it text base. Font size is and the line height 1.5 or em. Okay, now we're going to add that boldness I was talking about. So we have font semi-bold, font weight right here, the font weight 600. Then we have font bold, which is slightly stronger, font weight 700. Okay, and we should pretty much be all set up. We're gonna call for our color on the text. We're gonna have text white. It's gonna have a color of white, and we're gonna have text black. It's gonna have a black color, which we'll find now from the Kick page. And that is pretty much it. Let's find that Kick color. So with the black text, we're going to use the inspect tools. Okay, this helps us find information of the HTML that's being rendered on the Kick site. So you can come in here and hover over anything. Okay, and we're just going to take this color, black. And right there we have our black. Okay, so now we're going to divide this tutorial in several parts. Okay, but the first part is I'm going to focus on the navigation. So we're going to do this header that you guys are seeing right here with this side navigation. Okay, that's our main focus. So let's start with the header. Okay, so we're going to come into the Nuxt directory again, structure, and we're going to call the components folder, which is right here. And like the name suggests, this is just the components folder where we're going to store all our components. In this case, we're going to have the side navigation, which is this right here, and we're going to have the header, which is right here. Okay, so we're going to grab this name and create that folder. So we're going to go into app again, create a new folder. We're going to call it components. Okay, and since the first thing we're going to be creating is the header, this nav bar right here, so we're just going to come in our components folder and create a new file and call it navbar.py. Okay, this is where we're going to store all our code for the navbar. Okay, so again, set up this script. Okay, so the script, this navbar, okay, is divided, as we can see, in 3 sections. So we have this left section right here, we have the middle section, and we have this right section. Okay, so let's do it. So we're going to call this navbar we're going to do position fixed since it's at the top of the screen. Okay, we're going to do left 0, so it's on the left border right here, starting right here. And we're also going to do top 0 since it's at the top of the screen. Now we're going to give it a height of 60 pixels. Okay, and we're going to give it a background color of that black that we have right here. We're going to copy that background color, give that black right there. Let's take a look. Okay, now we have to call it in our index page right here, so we can get rid of this, and we can call our component right here navbar. Okay, and it's not showing up. Okay, width, we have to give it a width, and we're going to give it a width of 100% of the viewport. So that means if the screen is smaller, it's going to adjust to that screen. Okay, so as we can see here, now we have our header right here. This is the header. Okay, one thing I want to see is this margin, right, this padding that they have in their header. So we can find that by finding this right here. Okay, so they have a padding left of 0.75 and a padding right of 2.5. Okay, so we're going to come in here. We're going to do box size and border box. So we're going to do padding left 0.75 REM and padding right 2.5. Okay, once that's all set, we can now divide our section in 3 parts. Okay, like I said, we have this left burger menu section, the search, and the login. So we're going to come in here, do display flags. We're going to do justify content space between. Okay, to divide in 3 sections since they're spaced out, as we can see right here. And lastly, we want to align it items center, because as you can see, it's in the center of this header. Okay, of this navbar. Okay, so now we can build this left section. So I'm going to comment out 3 sections. Right here, we're going to have our burger menu section. Okay, now as we can see, the body also has the same color. Okay, and as we can see also, this header has like some sort of box shadow. If you can see the difference, which is right here. So we're going to copy this box shadow. Okay, we can close this inspect tools, and we're going to give that box shadow to our header. Okay, and we're going to give our body this color. So we're going to go back into our app and give the body that color. Okay, so we see now, you see how we get that header slight distinction from that box shadow. Okay, so let's start with our burger menu section right here. So we're gonna have this outer gray container, okay, be right here. So we're gonna call it, we have to give this, it has a gap, as we can see, has some gap space between the logo and the burger menu. So we're gonna call it right here. So we're gonna do display flags, align item center, and we're gonna give it a gap of 0.625. Okay. Now we're gonna build that burger menu. So we're gonna call this burger section. Burger menu, my bad, burger menu. Okay, so this is the outer layer, so that gray container. So we're gonna actually give this also a height of 40 pixels. Okay, since this is 40 pixels in height, even this. So we're gonna give it a height of 40 pixels. So now this burger menu is gonna have 100% of that height. Now it's gonna be a width of 40 pixels. Okay, it's gonna have some border radius, as we can see. The edges have some border radius, 0.25 REM, and the actual menu sticks, okay, are going to be in the center of that container. So we're going to do display flags, justify content center, and align items center. Now we're going to build the inner menu. Okay, so the sticks, so we're going to call this inner menu. And we're going to give this a width of 16 pixels and a height of 16 pixels. Okay. And we're going to do display flex, so we can have the sticks be vertical, as you can see. Vertical. So we're going to have a flex direction column, so it's vertical. And we're going to do justify content space evenly, so they have some space between them, and I'm also going to give them a gap of 2 pixels. Okay. We're now going to build the sticks, so we're going to call it white stick. Okay, this is going to be 100% of that inner menu, so we're going to give it a width of 100%. We're then going to give it a height of 2 pixels, and we're going to give it a background color of white right here. Okay, so if we come here, we can see it right there. So now we're just going to do that 2 more times. We're just going to copy this tag, this span, like this, and as you can see, here's the menu. We can close this. The components directory, I think we could close this as well. I'm going to close that. So we're left with this. Okay, now we're going to take the Kick logo again, hit the inspect. You can get the logo like this right here, and we'll just copy this logo. Okay, this is just for the tutorial. Don't actually steal the logo. Okay, so now we're going to come in here. We're going to add the logo right here. So this is going to be an image tag, and the source is going to be that logo URL, and alt we'll just call this Kick logo. Class, we'll do logo image. This is going to be a width of 97 pixels and a height of 26 pixels. So check it out, and there it is. Okay, let's now continue with the search input. Okay, so we have it right here, the search input. We're going to call that, and we're going to style it. So we're going to give it a width of 420 pixels, and we're going to give it a height of 36 pixels. Okay, we're going to give it some border radius, as we can see right here, how the edges are curving in, so it has some border radius. So border radius, we're going to do 100 pixels, and we're also going to give it this gray outline right here. Okay, we're going to steal this gray color from here, which is right here. So we're going to do now outline 2 pixels. It's going to be solid, okay, because it's solid, and that color. So we come here, you can see it right there. Okay, and make sure this is space between. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go with the search functionality right here. So it has a small icon. Okay, so we're going to use Tabler to find the icon. We're going to look for search. There it is. What we're going to do is going to copy this SVJ, copy, and we're going to just put it, actually wait, before this we're going to put it in a span. Okay, we're going to call this icon container. Okay, we'll change the stroke to 1.5. For this icon container, we want that icon to be centered, so we're going to do icon container, display flex, justify content center, and align items center. Okay, now we're going to give the search icon a class, so we're going to do search icon. We're going to call that search icon with 16 pixels, height 16 pixels, and a color white. Okay, now we're actually going to make this search section, we're going to make it position relative. Okay, position relative. Okay, so we can center the search, right, the search bar as we like. So we're going to move this to the left by making it position absolute, and then we're going to move it from the top 50%. Okay, so we're going to grab this icon right here, and we're going to call this position absolute. Okay, it's right there. We're going to do top 50%. Okay, but we have to take into consideration that it's doing its full length. So if we do transform, and if we translate that y negative 50%, now it's perfectly centered. Okay, as we can see there, and we're going to do slight left margin. Okay, not margin, like slightly push it to the right. So we're going to do 0.75. Okay, and there it is. And now for the search input, we're going to come here, call this search input, and we'll import the input. We'll call an input, give it a class name of search input. Okay, and this is going to be the full length of that search bar. Okay, so we're going to give it flex 1, so it occupies the whole container. Okay, as we can see, it's there. We have to justify its center, so the search section, we have to align the items center. So we come right here, display flex, justify content center, align items center. Okay, and there it is. As we can see, it has some padding. Okay, both left and right. So we're going to grab their padding right here. So 2 and 2.5. So we're going to do box sizing, order box, padding 2, padding left 2, REM, padding right 0.5. Okay, as we can see, the input is right there. We're going to get rid of the background color. So we're going to come here, we're going to do background color transparent. There it is. And it has a border, so we're going to get rid of the border rule. Border, none. There it is. Now it has a placeholder of search. Oh. Okay, so it has search. So we're going to come in here and do placeholder search. So we see it right there. Okay, now we want to get rid of this focus, alright, because they clearly don't have it on click. So we're going to get rid of the focus by calling the focus class on that search input. So we're going to do search input pseudo class focus, and we're going to do outline none. Okay, no longer exists. Now we're going to give our text some styling, which is what we created right here. So we're going to give it a font of semi-bold, and we're going to call this text small. So we're going to go in the nav bar, in the search input, we're going to do text small right here, and we're going to do font semi-bold, and also, as we can see, the text is white. So we're going to give it a text of white, which again is what we created right here. Okay, so all this. So now we have that. Okay, so here it is. Perfect. Now let's go with the logo section, with the login section. So login section right here. Same thing here. Has a height of 40. Looks like this container has a height of 40 pixels. Okay. And it's split by a small gap. So we're going to do display flex, align items center, gap 0.5, and height 40 pixels. Here we're going to have the login button, and we're going to have the sign in button. Login button, sign button. Sign up button. So we're now going to take this container and we're going to style it. We're going to do display flex. Again, see how the text is centered in that container? So we're going to do display flex, justify content center. So it's at the center of the container, and then we're going to align it center as well. So it's not at the top or in the bottom, it's center. So justify content centers it in the sense that the text is now going to be in the center of the box, and then the align items, it's going to be centered in the sense that instead of being at the top or in the bottom, it's going to be right in the center. Okay. So now, as we can see, it has some padding. Okay. So we're going to do padding up and down 0 pixels in the top and bottom, right and left. We're going to do 8 pixels. Border box. And we can see they both also have some border radius. Okay, so we're going to do border radius 0.25 REM. Perfect. So now we're going to have our text class again, what we defined from here. So we'll do text base this time. And since this is the login, it has text white. Text white. We'll do font semi-bold. And we'll just write log in. Check it out. Right there, perfect. Now we'll do the sign up button, which is the same thing. So we'll just copy this. Okay, but this one has a different background color. Has that kick green, so we're gonna steal it from here. Close that. The new background color of that. Call the same thing. Sign up. Sign up. And this has a text color of black. You have to give this height 100%. And height. Okay, we're going to do this hover effect right here, which is the exact same color as this right here. So we're going to steal this gray from here, and on this button we're going to do log in button. On hover, we're going to give it that gray background. So we're going to do background color, and we'll call that. And it has a slight transition, as we can see. It's not instant, so we'll steal this transition right here, and we'll do transition on the background color 0.15 milliseconds. We'll call that transition. We'll also give it a cursor button, pointer, my bad. Like this, our mouse, we can see our mouse change when we're hovering over the element. So if we come back after saving, you can see we get that effect. Okay. Okay, we're actually gonna change this to 12 pixels. Okay. And we're also gonna change this one to 12 pixels. see this quickly. No, perfect. Okay. Now we're going to continue by building this sidebar right here. Okay. So now we're going to create a new component under our components folder. Okay, so we're going to call this one sidebar.vo. And same thing here. We're going to call our script template and our style. Okay, right here, same thing. See how it's fixed to the side of the screen? So we're also going to position this fixed. Okay, as you can see, it's always there. So we're going to go back to our component sidebar. I want to call this sidebar. So we're going to do position fixed, left of 0, and now in this case, top, it's going to be 60 pixels. Okay, since our height of our nav bar is 60 pixels, so we're going to do top 60 pixels, and then the height of this sidebar is 100% of the screen minus that nav bar height. So we're going to do height, call the calc, we'll do 100 view height minus that 60 pixels. Okay, now we're going to give it a width of 256 pixels, and we're going to give it some padding. Okay, since you can see in the inspect it has what, some padding. Okay, and the padding, as you can see right there, is 12 pixels. So we're going to do padding 12 pixels. Okay, and this is divided in two sections. Alright, this navbar has the stop section, the navigation links, and then we have all the streamers. Okay, so we're going to do display flex, and again we're going to align them vertically downwards. Okay, so display flex and this flex direction column. Okay, so now we're going to divide it into our two sections. So we have sidebar links, and we have stream links. Oh, we'll just do channel. Sidebar links. So again, these are displayed vertically downwards. So we'll do display flex direction column. And then we're going to create a single link. So we'll do single sidebar link. Okay, this is going to have the icon and then a gap plus the text. So we're going to come in here, we're going to do display flex, again align items center since they're centered in this container, and we're going to give it a height of 40 pixels. So we can see it also has some border radius, so we're going to do border radius 0.25, and we're going to give it some gap, so we'll do 1. Okay, so now we can grab these icons again. We can grab this icon from here, so we could just search for home, and you guys could just grab this one. Okay, but I made these SVGs right here. Let me know if you guys want them, or I can put a link to them. Okay, so we'll have this SVG, which is this home one right here. So we're gonna copy it, and we're gonna call that icon. Okay, give it a class of side icon already, so we'll just style it. So we're gonna give it a width 16 pixels, height 16 pixels, and a color of white. And then we're gonna give it the home text. Okay, so we're gonna do text, and we'll call our home text from here. So we'll do text base right there, font semi bold, and font and color. So do text white, and this is home, like so. Okay, we have to call the sidebar component in our page, so we go right here, and we'll do the same thing, sidebar right there. As you can see, it's right there. But you see how it has some padding right there, so we're gonna give it some padding. So we'll come to the sidebar, we'll do single. Now we're gonna do box sizing, border box, and we'll get some padding. So we'll do 8 pixels left and right, 0 pixels up and down, 8 pixels left and right. So here we go, there it is. We'll do the exact same thing for these links right here. So we'll just copy this, call this browser, and then we'll call this following. So now we'll change the text, this following, and this is going to be browse, like so. We'll change the icons from here. So this is the browse, remove this one, add our icon, and here's the follow. Okay, there it is. Now we'll just create a variable, okay, for the active tab. So we'll call this const active tab, and we'll give it, it's a reactive, okay, so it's going to be changing, and we'll just assign it to 1. So we'll say that this is 1, home is 1, browser is 2, and following is 3. Okay, so we'll just do this. We'll do a class, we'll call it, we'll do active, and it's going to be active when this variable right here is going to be equal to 1. Copy the same thing, copy this right here, grab these, right. But this is going to be 2 and 3. Okay, and we'll create that active class. So we'll do single right here dot active, and we'll just give it that gray background. Okay, so nav bar right here. Copy and paste it. Okay, so since it's initially set to 1, this is the link, the sidebar link that is going to get that gray background. Okay, so you can see right there, this is the link. Okay, and now we're gonna set it so whenever you click on each link, we're gonna set that to be active. Okay, so that's to say when you click on browse, that's going to be the active tab. Okay, so when you're here, do add click. We're going to change that active tab. It's going to be equal to the number. Okay, so we're going to copy that, do the same thing here, 2 and 3. Okay, so whenever you click on them, it sets it the active class. Okay, last thing we're going to do before we cut this video and continue for part 2 is going to be this pointer, same thing as we did with these buttons. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come to the links. I'm going to do sidebar links, and we're going to give it a class, a style of cursor pointer. So there it is. Okay, if we want to get this effect, let's add it. Okay, the effect of the hover effect. So we're just going to come in here, we're going to do right here, hover, get rid of that. We'll grab the same transition, we'll put it on there, and now when we hover, we get that hover effect. Okay, so that's it for this part 1, and I'll see you guys in the next video.